Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ishmael Ogbechia, and this is another episode brought to you by 1 Million Teachers. Now, today we'll be looking at some series of questions here, still under fractional and power law. So, if you look at these three questions here, they all look alike, but they are quite different. So, the first one is 64x raised to the power of 1/2. How do we simplify a problem like this? Now, if you look at this, the fraction, that is this power here, is only affecting x. So, which means when applying the fractional law, it will only affect x and not 64. So, since it's not affecting 64, I'm going to write down my 64, and then I'm going to apply my fractional law now to x, which gives me root x all raised to the power of 1. Remember, I said your denominator becomes the root, and then the numerator becomes the power. So our answer is 64 with x. Since we can't really get a definite expression for x, we leave it that way. Now for the second one, we are having 64x all in bracket is the power of half. Now the difference between this and the first one is that here we are having a parenthesis, and this half is affecting both 64 and x, which means the fractional law will affect both 64 and x, unlike the first one where it is only affecting 64. So for this second one, it will affect both. So this is going to give us root 64x, and the square root of 64 is 8, and the square root of x, as usual, cannot be expressed. Now remember, why I didn't bother to put all these raised to the power of 1 here is because I know that anything raised to the power of 1 is still that same thing. So that's why I didn't bother, just to save some time. For the third one, I'm having 64x 1/3 all raised to the power of -6. Now if you look at this third one, two things are playing here: the fractional laws of indices and negative index law. In fact, three things are playing here. Even the power law are also playing here. Now I can write this 64 as 64 raised to the power of 1, and then x is equal to 1/3 and raised to the power of -6. The only difference between this and this is just this one here. I just want you to see the one visible. Now let's apply the power law here. The power law says the powers inside the bracket times the one outside. So I'm having 64 1 times -6. Here I'm having 1/3 times -6. So that this gives me 64. 1 times -6 is what? It's -6. And then x, 1/3 times -6. This 3 will cancel this -6. That gives me -2. So that I'm left with this and this. Now I'm going to apply my negative index law here, which says invert this 64 becomes 1/64. And once you do that, the negative sign changes to positive. You do the same thing. This x, invert it, becomes 1/x. And once you do that, the negative sign changes to positive. So that my final answer becomes 1/64 raised to the power of x, raised to the power of 6, and 1/x squared. Because this will affect this, this will affect this, so that my final answer becomes, I combine this thing now, that gives me 1/64 raised to the power of 6, x raised to the power of 2. So we can stop here, or I can decide to put it this way if I choose to. 1/64. Okay, let me write it here. 1/64 is equal to 6, is equal to 2. So I can rewrite this as 1/64 raised to the power of 3 x this is of 2. I'm just kind of doing a kind of more advanced factorization here, because it's got that by the time you times this, it will still give you back this. But if you stop here, you are still okay. You are still okay. If you stop here, you are still okay. So I hope you've gotten something from this today. Remember to like and share and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.